We all know those eerie urban legends. Don't wander into the woods at night, or you might fall victim to the hook man. And whatever you do, never say Bloody Mary 3 times in front of a darkened mirror, or you'll be dragged to hell. Whenever you're about to get into your car, always check the back seat for an axe-wielding killer. The list goes on and on. But the 15 stories that we're going to share with you aren't just myths or campfire tales to send a chill down your spine. These are real-life accounts, moments where people found themselves face to face with the unexplainable, the dangerous, or the downright terrifying. From unsettling encounters at home to sinister surprises in unexpected places, these stories will make you sleep with the lights on. Number 15. The Enfield Monster. In 1973, Henry McDaniel of Enfield, Illinois, had an encounter that would haunt any rational person, or at least make them question their sanity. Stepping into his yard, McDaniel saw what he described as 3 legs, a short body, 2 little arms, and pink eyes as big as flashlights. A creature straight out of a fever dream. McDaniel called the police, who found scratches on his door and 6-toed footprints, proof that something strange had been there. Still, skeptics raised eyebrows, probably muttering, "Lay off the late-night sci-fi, Henry." But McDaniel doubled down, claiming, if they find it, they'll find more than one, and they won't be from this planet. That's confidence for you. While no explanation has surfaced to this day, the Enfield Monster has cemented its place in cryptid lore. Whether it was an alien, an animal, or Henry's imagination running wild, one thing's for sure. Enfield hasn't seen this much excitement since, well, never. Number 14. The Suicide Hotel. The Hotel del Salto in Colombia is proof that breathtaking views can come with equally chilling histories. Overlooking the Tequendama Falls, this 1923 hotel earned its nickname, Hotel of the Leap, thanks to the sheer number of guests who apparently couldn't resist the call of the cliffs. According to legend, the indigenous Muisca tribe once leaped from these cliffs to escape Spanish invaders. Centuries later, visitors followed suit, leaving behind whispers of curses, restless spirits, and a reputation as one of the most haunted places on Earth. Now a museum, the hotel attracts thrill seekers eager for a brush with the paranormal. Reports of ghostly whispers, phantom shadows, and that spine-chilling sensation of being watched are par for the course. So if you're looking for a hotel where the views are to die for, the Hotel del Salto is waiting. Just remember, the only leap you should take is into your rental car when things get too creepy. Number 13. The Axe Murder House. The Villisca Axe Murder House in Iowa isn't just famous for its 1912 unsolved murders, it's basically Airbnb for the undead. Back then, 6 children and 2 adults were bludgeoned to death with an axe, and the culprit was never caught. Now, the house charges $428 a night for thrill seekers who want to sleep where this nightmare unfolds. Guests frequently report creepy phenomena, from shadowy figures carrying axes to faint screams of children. But in 2014, things went from spooky to horrifying when a paranormal fanatic, Robert Stephen Lawson Jr., stabbed himself in the chest during an overnight stay, at exactly the time the 1912 murders occurred. So, was it a pure coincidence? Well, probably not. While Lawson survived, he stayed tight-lipped about what drove him to do it. The house's owner, Martha Lynn, wasn't thrilled. It's not the kind of publicity you want. Yet, the Villisca Axe Murder House is still open for business, proving there's no such thing as bad marketing, even in horror. Number 12. The Haunted Doll. When people think of haunted dolls, they picture antique porcelain nightmares, not a Disney Frozen Elsa doll. But in 2013, one Houston family learned that even Disney magic can turn demonic. At first, Elsa sang "Let It Go" in English, as expected. But by 2015, she began switching randomly between English and Spanish. No big deal. until she started singing and talking on her own with the power switch off. The family threw the doll out, but Elsa had other plans. Weeks later, she reappeared inside their house. Determined to exorcise this plastic nightmare, they double-bagged her and tossed her in the trash again. When they returned from a trip, Elsa was waiting for them, this time in the backyard. Finally, the family mailed her to a friend in Minnesota, who taped her to his truck bumper like some kind of haunted hood ornament. So far, Elsa hasn't come back, but let's not count her out just yet. Number 11, the grandmas in the cemetery. Jeff from Ohio was driving past a quiet cemetery with his 3-year-old son Miles when the toddler suddenly stopped singing and pointed, saying, "Look at all those people." Confused, Jeff scanned the empty cemetery. "What people?" he asked. Miles replied matter-of-factly, "All the grandmas. There sure are a lot of grandmas." Jeff, now thoroughly unsettled, pressed on. "What are they doing?" he asked. Miles answered, "They're all standing there looking down at the grass." Because nothing screams, "Turn the car around," like your kid describing a crowd of ghostly seniors. Later that day, Miles dropped another bomb. You know, they weren't alive. When Jeff asked for clarification, Miles calmly explained, "They were all paused." Jeff hasn't said whether they still drive past cemeteries, but it's safe to assume he's considering a new route and possibly a sage stick or two, just in case his toddler has some ghost-whispering tendencies. Number 10, the Whaley House hauntings. San Diego's Whaley House is nicknamed America's Most Haunted House, and for great reason. Built in 1856 on land that once hosted public executions, it's a hotbed of paranormal activity. Founder Thomas Whaley reported hearing heavy footsteps and grunts, which he believed were from Yankee Jim Robinson, a criminal hanging on the property. Guests today claim to see Whaley's ghost, smell his cigar smoke, or catch his wife Anna's lavender perfume lingering in the air. Even the Whaley family's pets seem to haunt the house. Visitors report feeling a dog brushing against their legs or even licking them. If that's not a solid reason to bring ghost treats, what is? Tour guides also report strange occurrences, like furniture moving on its own or an eerie no captured on a ghost recorder. So, if you're feeling brave, stop by the Whaley House. Just don't be surprised if you leave with more than a ghost story. You might take home a spectral pet, too. Number 9, the ghost of Captain Joseph White. Salem, Massachusetts may have cornered the market on witches, but Captain Joseph White's murder proves the town isn't a one-trick pony. In 1830, the wealthy merchant was clubbed to death in his bed by a hired hitman. Why? Money, of course. Greedy brothers Joseph and Francis Knapp figured they could expedite their inheritance by smashing the poor captain's skull in with the help of a third-party murderer. Captain White didn't go quietly, though. Tourists claim his ghost still paces the halls of the Gardner Pingree house, presumably regretting his bad taste in relatives. Shadowy figures often appear in the windows of the home, despite it being completely empty. Is it Captain White guarding his treasure, or did some random ghost just move in rent-free? Either way, Salem's haunted history isn't all witch hats and broomsticks. Sometimes it's about rich guys who got on the wrong end of a club. Number 8, dead animals in the walls. The Bretsuis family of Auburn, Pennsylvania just wanted to insulate their house. What they got was a front-row seat to the most disturbing episode of House Hunters, Paranormal Edition. Behind their walls, they discovered carcasses of animals wrapped in 1930s newspapers, surrounded by spices and other questionable items. Experts traced this mess to powwow magic, an old Pennsylvania Dutch ritual meant to heal or protect the home. Unfortunately for the Bretsuis family, the only thing this magic summoned was black mold and a stench that could outlast time itself. Even after removing the remains, the odor lingered like a bad memory. Moral of the story? If your house feels a little too affordable during the walkthrough, ask the realtor about previous owners and their hobbies. Number 7. Florida devil worshipping. Danielle Harkins, a seemingly normal Florida middle school teacher, took a sudden career detour into demonology in 2012. She convinced 7 of her former students to meet her by a fire pit, where she explained they had demons inside them. Her solution? A little self-harm therapy, followed by some good old fire-based purification. When her lighter failed to burn a student's hand, Harkins went full MacGyver, dousing the poor kid in perfume before setting him on fire. Another student was cut on the neck with a broken bottle and then cauterized with a heated key, because apparently Harkins also moonlit as a blacksmith. Thankfully, a friend tipped off the police, and Harkins was arrested for aggravated battery and child abuse. When asked why she did it, Harkins didn't offer much of an explanation. Honestly, Florida doesn't even need one. This is just Tuesday in the Sunshine State. Number 6. The death of Elisa Lam. The Cecil Hotel in LA doesn't need a marketing team. Its reputation does all the work. In 2013, Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old traveler, checked into the infamous hotel and was last seen in elevator footage behaving, let's say, oddly. She pressed random buttons, peeked out nervously, and gestured at someone, or something, off camera. 2 weeks later, her decomposing body was found in a rooftop water tank. Guests had been complaining about the water's foul taste and color, unaware they were drinking lamb-infused H2O. Suddenly, tap water never looked so appealing. Her death was ruled accidental, but theories range from psychotic episodes to supernatural interference to the ghosts of the Cecil Hotel itself. This isn't the hotel's first rodeo with horror. Serial killer Richard Ramirez and other notable murderers called it home at various points. The moral here? Maybe just avoid staying anywhere with a Yelp rating that includes murder or ghosts in the plumbing. Number 5. The imaginary friend. Jacqueline from Oklahoma thought she had the best imaginary friend ever, her grandfather, Pa Hank. He'd sit under the tree, tell her Prohibition-era stories, and generally be the kind of grandparent every kid dreams of. There was just one tiny problem. Pa Hank died in 1981, and Jacqueline was born in 1982. She recalls hearing him walk around at night when visiting her grandmother's house, and the rest of her family seemed to just roll with it. Her Granny Junie even avoided staying in the house on the anniversary of his death. Classic ghost grandpa behavior. In hindsight, Jacqueline says it was comforting rather than creepy, because hey, better a ghost relative than some random specter lurking under the bed. Now, let's head over to number 4, the ghosts of Shawshank Penitentiary. The Ohio State Reformatory, best known as the set for the Shawshank Redemption, is apparently still hosting inmates of the ghostly variety. Shut down in 1990, the prison boasts a resume of violence, suicides, and hauntings so thick it could probably file for a paranormal license. Teresa Argy, a paranormal investigator, has encountered all kinds of spirits there. One is a crying woman who appears in the chapel pews but vanishes when approached. Another is the warden's wife, who accidentally shot herself while pulling a box off a shelf. Ghost tip: maybe leave the spring cleaning to the living. Then there's the angry ghost. Argy claims he cursed at her during a session. Rude, even for a spirit. Things escalated when he apparently followed her partner home, turning reflections into literal nightmare fuel. Thankfully, after some professional ghost eviction, he hasn't been spotted since. Moral of the story? Don't taunt angry ghosts. They don't just haunt the building. Number 3, who's under the bed? We've all heard the saying, don't look under the bed, but for one Florida woman in 2015, ignoring that advice was not an option. While searching for her cats, she reached under her bed, expecting to feel soft fur. Instead, her fingertips brushed against human skin. If that doesn't make your soul leave your body, what will? Terrified, the 61-year-old called 911. Moments later, the man, 25-year-old Christian Vadovec, slithered out from under her bed like the world's creepiest surprise and bolted out the back door. Thankfully, police nabbed him nearby, clutching a digital camera and a gold ankle bracelet like some kind of budget pirate. Turns out, a neighbor had already called the cops after spotting Vadovec knocking on doors and acting sketchy in the woman's yard. He was arrested for burglary, theft, and resisting arrest. As for the cats, they probably watched the entire thing from a safe spot, smugly enjoying the chaos. Number 2. There's someone in the closet. Most roommates are annoying, but at least they pay rent. That's more than can be said for the unexpected guest Maddie, a 20-year-old University of North Carolina student discovered in her closet in 2019. After noticing some of her clothes had vanished and creepy handprints on the bathroom wall, Maddie suspected a ghost. But nope, it was something much worse. One Saturday she came home, heard noises from her closet and asked, "Who's there?" To her horror, a man answered, "Oh, my name is Drew." Points for honesty? She opened the closet to find him sitting in the corner, rocking her clothes. After frantically texting her boyfriend, Maddie kept the guy talking until backup arrived. Police later arrested Andrew Clyde Swafford, who somehow sneaked into the apartment without forced entry. Swafford may have been charged with breaking and entering, but Maddie probably charged him with ruining her favorite outfit. Number 1. Nightmare home purchase. Buying your first home is supposed to be exciting. For Timothy Smith and his fiancée, it was also a horror movie. In 2019, they arrived at their new house in Gresham, Oregon, to find an odd welcome package: a MacBook, an open cider bottle, and knives left in their car. Inside, things got even weirder. There was a vape pen on the table, holes in the walls, and a missing heating grate. Then they found clothes, not theirs, and an open crawl space. Deciding he wasn't getting paid enough for this, Smith called 911. 15 minutes later, police escorted a man in Smith's fiancée's Christmas onesie out the front door. The intruder, Ryan Bishop, had been busy breaking walls, drinking beer, eating cupcakes, and smoking their weed, while bonding with a random cat. The couple decided to keep the cat because, honestly, it was the only thing that made sense. If you enjoyed watching this video, please guys, like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.